Monday Night Raw starts off with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. They end up having a back and forth promo. The promo is basically Paul Heyman trying to manipulate, get inside the mind of Jey Uso. Ends up mentioning the bloodline, mentioning how he can't trust his family, and that basically he can't trust Roman. He ends up saying that Roman never saw him as the tribal chief. He saw Solo as the tribal chief. And then he ends up mentioning, Bronson and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. Then you get Jey Uso. He ends up responding, ends up mentioning his family, mentioning, becoming a single star, doing it on his own. And then eventually ends up leading to the SummerSlam match, of course, mentioning how he's going to overthrow the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. That's really it. This promo was fine. It was all right. Like, it just felt very, I don't want to say forced, but it just didn't feel like no direction here. It just felt like this was just placed just to have something here, just to build towards the match. Like, it didn't really do anything personally for me. It just felt just whatever. It just felt like just a whatever promo, just nothing of substance. It felt like they really didn't have much to really go off of here. Like, I don't know. It just felt like a promo just here just to have it waste time. It just felt like filler. It just didn't feel like nothing of importance. I didn't expect much due to it being a go home show, but this promo just didn't do anything for me. It just really didn't do much for me. This promo I just really couldn't really care for, which is very unfortunate because when you have a promo with Paul Heyman, you should care about it. But this was just, it was very boring and just whatever, in my opinion. We end up getting a six person mixed tag match between the Kabuki Warriors, AJ Styles versus the Judgment Day. This match was very confusing because I don't understand why this match happened. Like, it doesn't make sense. AJ Styles and Dominic, that makes sense because it was Dominic and with Roxanne Perez and Raquel. That makes sense with Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Why are the Kabuki Warriors facing Raquel and Roxanne? That makes no sense because they have a match against Charlotte and Alexa at SummerSlam, so I don't know what this doesn't build towards anything. I don't understand why we need a mixed tag match. That didn't make any sense. But you end up getting AJ Styles pinning Dominic. So was that the reason so he could pin Dominic? But even then, I still don't understand that logic. Like, did you really need to pin Dominic? Like, was it that big of a deal? I get you want to make it convincing that AJ probably has a chance of winning, but really though, like, but that's the only thing I could think of is that this match was just in place for him to pin Dominic. But I didn't think you really needed this match to do so, but I guess. It was a fine match. It was entertaining. The match makes no sense for the Kabuki Warriors and AJ Styles to be teaming up, especially because the Kabuki Warriors shouldn't have no relationship with the Judgment Day right now because that's all going towards Charlotte and Alexa. But it is what it is. I've been loving what they're doing with AJ Styles and Dominic, with AJ Styles with Dominic constantly running away from AJ while AJ is constantly trying to chase after Dominic. I love the story they've been telling here. This match makes no sense, but it was fun for what it was. Interested to see how the match plays out. We end up getting Sheamus versus Grayson Waller for whatever reason. Really don't understand it. Sheamus wins, of course, in like a 4 minute match. Really should have been like a 30-second swash match, if I'm being honest. Then you get Rusev, comes out, attacks him, puts him in a submission hold. That's it. Continues the feud. That's really it. Don't really care for this. Don't really know why Grayson Waller wanted a match against Sheamus anyway. They're having with the New Day for whatever reason. Don't understand it. So the fact that he's with the New Day, that tells you everything you should know about his career. Yeah. See where this goes with Sheamus and Rusev. Don't know. It looks like they're going to have a third match. Well, of course, they're going to have a third match. It's tied 1-1. So they're going to have a third match, of course. See how that plays out. But that's really it. We didn't get Lyra Valkyria. Lyra, she cuts a promo. She was basically mentioning, SummerSlam, her match at SummerSlam, of course, winning her Women's Intercontinental Championship back. Then you end up getting Becky Lynch. She ends up tries to sneak attack Lyra, but Lyra was prepared, ends up getting the upper hand, ends up attacking her with a kendo stick, and that's really it. I really wish they would have had more for this segment because, now to be fair, I'm not that disappointed because I didn't expect much from this segment because there's not much either of them can really say or do to really enhance this feud. This feud is already at the brink, is already at the peak, but still, this has been the most interesting thing in WWE for months. So I was kind of hoping they had a longer segment because this show overall was just, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't a lot of super interesting things, and I was hoping this was one of them that could have really helped this show, but they just decided to go with a simple brawl with Lyra just basically getting the upper hand on Becky Lynch. Very interested to see how this match play out. Very excited for the match. I was hoping for a bit more, but to be fair, I expected it. It's a go home show. Not really much they could do with a feud like this, especially with them feuding for months. Not much they could really say to each other that they haven't said before. So very interested, very excited for the match, but was hoping for a bit more. But I completely understand why they didn't go that route. But it was a fine segment. It was fine for what it was. Now we get Sami Zayn. We end up getting a Sami Zayn Karrion Kross segment. They're sitting down from across each other. You get Karrion Kross ends up saying that every person he's encountered with, he was able to allow them to show their true colors. But with Sami, he can't get them to break, and it's starting to frustrate him a bit. And he ends up saying that when he does win at SummerSlam, he wants him to say that Karrion Kross himself was right about him all along. Sami responds back and ends up saying that he doesn't understand what Karrion is trying to get at, and that Karrion might be wrong not only about him, about himself, but he might be wrong about, well, I'm about to word this wrong. He's not wrong only about Sami, but he's also wrong about himself, Karrion Kross. He also wrong about the people that he turned. And then he ends up saying that when he wins at SummerSlam, he wants Karrion Kross to admit that he was wrong all along. I like this. This is short, simple, straight to the point. And I like what they did here. Nothing too major. Very anxious to see how this match plays out because I think Sami will take the victory here. I just don't see a world where Karrion Kross wins, especially with his contract is coming to an end very soon, and they still haven't re-signed him, which is very questionable. So I could easily see him losing and easily see him going to a different company, or they could have him lose and he can still resign. Don't know what they're going to do with Karrion Kross. Very confusing what they're doing with Karrion Kross, to be honest, because he got himself over finally after all these years, and he's selling merch. So I don't know what more you really want from the guy, but we'll see how this plays out. I love the feud, but I'm hoping this is the final match because I'm going to be honest with you. I hope they do not expand this feud past this match. If Karrion Kross resigns, of course, so that's very interesting. But do not expand this feud past this match because this feud has been going on like before WrestleMania. Like we do not drag this out anymore. Either turn Sami heel or move on. Like one of those two options. Move on or turn Sami heel. But we'll see how this plays out. Now we end up getting an 8-woman tag match, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was an 8-woman tag match between Naomi, the Secret Harvest versus Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Nikki Bella, and Stephanie McCur. This is another match that doesn't make sense. Now, I understand why they did this match. This is just a way to have multiple stories play into one segment. I understand why. Now, the only thing I don't understand is that the Secret Harvest, Stephanie McCur, and Nikki Bella are not at SummerSlam. So that's the thing that's confusing me about this. The only thing that makes sense about this is that they wanted to put Io, Rhea, and Naomi all in the same segment to build that match because they ended up having a segment between Rhea and Io about them Rhea not being able to beat Rhea Ripley, not be able to beat Io. So I understand that, but again, this just felt like something that was just there just to waste TV time because this match made no sense, especially because Nikki Bella and Stephanie are not at SummerSlam. Same with the Secret Harvest, even though they've been feuding. So I don't really understand why do we need them involved if the match was just mainly just to push the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. But the baby faces win. Like no one thought the heels was going to win this match. I think Chelsea Green was the one that took the pin here. It was like I said, it was an enjoyable match. It was an unnecessary match, but it was an enjoyable match for what it was. We ended up getting a tag team championship match between the LWO versus the Judgment Day. This was a really good match, as I expected. The Judgment Day, good in-ring talent, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and LWO, one of the best in-ring tag teams that we have in WWE. We end up getting interferences from El Grande Americanos. Two El Grande Americanos interfered in this match. Judgment Day picked up the victory due to the help of El Grande Americano. So interested to see how this plays out. Well, not really interested to see how this plays out. We know how this is going to play out. Judgment Day are going to hold those titles for a while because there's no other tag team on Raw to really dethrone them. And then the El Grande Americano story, I am just over it. I've been over it since WrestleMania, to be honest with you. So I'm not even going to say let's see how this plays out because I have no interest in this story at all. But Judgment Day retain. Now we get Gunther. We end up getting a Gunther promo. Starts off with him being arrogant and cocky, as I'm mentioning his last week promo against CM Punk, and he ends up saying that he left CM Punk speechless and that he was able to outperform Punk on the microphone, someone who was considered one of the greatest on the microphone, that he was able to one-up him. Then you get CM Punk. He comes out, basically ends up saying that he needs to win the World Heavyweight Championship. The World Heavyweight Championship is important, that he needs to win that title. And then he ends up mentioning his career and that how he's a legend and how he defeated so many all-time greats that he can't even that he could even imagine facing against, and he ends up saying that they're not on the same level, and basically he's gonna win at SummerSlam, and that's really it. It was a good promo. It was a good solid promo. Um, I'm very interested to see how this match plays out because I can really see either person winning. Um, I can see Gunther winning. I have low confidence in Gunther winning, mainly due to what I just feel about his hierarchy in WWE, especially due to what I think is going to happen towards the end of the match or after the match. Very interested to see how this plays out, but it was a good solid promo. Nothing too major. Not really much they could do with the lack of amount of time that they had to build toward this match, but it was fine for what it was. Very interested to see how this match plays out. Now we get the main event. We end up getting Bron Reed versus Jey Uso. Ends in disqualification as I expected. I cannot remember the last time these two. I feel like these guys faced like 8 times and end in disqualification every single time. But Braun Breaker ends up hitting a spear on Jey Uso. They double team him. Roman Reigns comes out. They end up getting the upper hand, but then eventually Bronson and Braun ends up getting the upper hand. They end up taking out. Well, really, Braun Breaker takes out Jey Uso. And Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed did nothing, which is he only did something after Braun Breaker took them both out. He ends up hitting a spear on both of them. Then you end up getting Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami. Then towards the end, you end up getting Braun Breaker hitting a spear through the barricade on both Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, which was amazing. I love that. Then you end up getting Bronson Reed, which I thought was hilarious, taking the shoes of Roman Reigns, which I just found funny. That's just hilarious. I have never seen a wrestler steal someone else's shoes, which is hilarious. And he's holding the shoes up like it's a tie. I just thought that was funny that Bronson Reed stole Roman Reigns' shoes and start holding it like it was a tie. That was funny. I like what they did here. It makes the Bronson Breaker and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed look strong before their match. I like what they did here. Overall show, it was all right. It was fine. It was okay. A lot of unnecessary matches went on in this show. It was an okay show. But you guys let me know overall thoughts, opinions below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.